goodness.
Yes. Well, you know, the reopening of schools in the pandemic era of coronavirus COVID-19 is quite a challenge for the school district, quite a challenge for everyone. I think we're all looking for answers, but what I would say is this: it's important that we provide our parents with choices. You know, you will have some parents, and look, they sent out a survey. They got over 80,000 of the surveys back. I think it was 82,000. And when we look at the survey, the plurality of responses had to do with kids going back on campus, right? That was about 37% of parents wanted the kids to come back full time on campus. And then we also had about 24% of parents who said they want kids to actually do online full time, no going back to school right now. And then we also have about another 30 plus percent, I think it was 33% or so, of parents who said we will be okay with the hybrid model, you know, where they spend 2 days on campus and 2 days at home, and then the district would use Wednesday for sanitation purposes, cleaning up the classrooms to get kids back in there on Thursday, right? Now, I think those choices are important, and those choices will be beneficial to the school district as well. And I think it's a nice distribution of the parents' preferences, right? Because it will allow us to have less students within the schools. So if we have 25% of our kids whose parents want them to stay home, then we'll have, and then you have another 30% or so who want to do hybrid, then we'll have less students to go on campus. So we'll be able to have better social distance. We'll be able to track their behaviors much better. But at the same time, we must enforce safety measures, and that's going to be very challenging. We're dealing with children. You know, we're dealing with children. Getting a child to wear a mask for 7 hours, I mean, that's going to be pretty challenging. And then we have to ensure that the areas are sanitized. And here's another thing we got to look at. Normally, Sandra, we move students from class to class, right? Class changes, bell ring, the kids, hundreds of kids rolling on the hallway, going to another class. That's not going to work. So what I am proposing, and I haven't heard anyone else said this before yet, but maybe someone else did, I don't know. But what I am proposing is that we consider a way where we move teachers and not students.
Exactly,
right?
I agree with that.
Right. Teachers go from class to class, not students.
Right, not students. And then
Right.
this whole idea of just cleaning the school on Wednesday, I think you have to disinfect the desk every time a student gets up. Like, they're going to have to quadruple their cleaning staff to spray down that room before you bring the next group of students
Before
in.
you bring the next group of students, it's not going to work. And that is the reason. That's the reason I say we need to have a plan where we keep students stationary.
I'm telling you.
Right. Keep the students where they are, give them the materials they need, and keep the materials right below their desk. They stay right there for the day, right?
Bring the lunch in a box or whatever.
Deliver the lunch. Utilize their non-instructional staff. They're going to be busier than they ever were.
And they need a triple that cleaning crew too, because I'm telling you, like, that's going to be a problem.
Right. Now, just imagine this. If we don't consider keeping students stationary, and we start moving hundreds of kids down the hallway from class to class, and then they're going to a desk where maybe another kid who was infected, and then that kid has to, and then 5 other kids sit at that desk for the day.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Right. So it's important. We have to have really good planning. We have to really think this thing through. I believe personally that, in my opinion, even 50% is too much. I think we should have about 35%, capacity, and we should work the numbers out so we can achieve that. And I think we can if we really handle this thing carefully. And we must, in my opinion, move the teachers from class to class, keep the students stationary, utilize our non-instructional staff to accomplish this, deliver lunches to rooms, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot that goes into all of this.
Yeah.
Now, the second component of this really is the e-learning. We need to, it was good for the moment when we had to adjust quickly in March, and we had to get kids an option for learning because we had to close the schools down. And the Canvas system, it works, it was fine, but it's not enough. We need to have enhanced e-learning going forward. We need to be able to figure out how we're going to possibly have live streaming for our students at home. So we are not totally, or we're not so much dependent on the parent. I believe the previous model, it was a lot of parent dependency to get the work done, to help the kids with the assignments and so on. We have to find ways in which we can now have more student-teacher contact, less parent dependency, because after all, our parents have to work, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
And doing all these things. So there's so much to consider in everything that we do. And I think with that being said, it is very important that we put the right person there. And by the way, Sandra, I have had experience with that myself. I run a learning center.
Mm-hmm.
I had almost 300 students, right, at my learning center, 300 subject students. So I had to transition my learning center to an online format, which I did in March. By April 1st, every single parent, 100% of them were online with my center. And I have over, yes, I have over 20 staff, and I did not lay off a single one. So all my staff, they're working online. They're providing live instructions, not pulling assignments off and completing and submitting it. We have live instructors there for every single student, for every single class, for the entire period that they're there. Now, that may not work perfectly with Broward County School District, but I'm just showing you that it's important to have someone who has already done that, who has the adaptive skills to make that happen. And going forward, as coronavirus, hopefully it slows down at some point. Hopefully we find a vaccine. But if it does, if it does slow down, then I will then provide those options that the district is providing as well, for my parents. And I'm looking to do that. I'm looking at what the district is doing to make sure that my parents have the option of coming to the center at about 25% capacity and doing fully online or doing a hybrid format. So I'm kind of doing the same thing the district is doing as well. Yeah. So I am bringing that skill to the board.
Yeah, it's definitely